Good morning and welcome to April. Can you believe that it is the 1st of April 2024 already? I absolutely cannot. I hope that you all have had a lovely Easter this past weekend. It is still bank holiday here in Northern Ireland today and tomorrow. So I am enjoying that and I have a little bit more time off for the rest of the week. So that is good news. If you are here for the first time, I hope that you will enjoy your visit and that you will want to stay. Maybe you'll want to hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss future episodes. If you're coming back again, well, huge thank you. And thank you for being part of my community, part of my life now. So, since the last time, I have had 1 week off work already and I'm taking another week off work, which is great. I have had a little bit of a reality check on my life, which sounds very grand, but it's just a way of saying I came to a point where I realised I can't do everything and I need to stop for a little bit. So I've taken the 2 weeks that Charlotte is off school, I have taken those off work, just to try and stop juggling one plate for a little bit of time. I had a getaway last week. If you follow my Instagram account, you may have seen a little video of my walk along the beach. I will insert that here for you to see. It's very brief. As I said, it was brief. Well, it was a nice 45-minute walk along the beach. I ran away from home on Tuesday of last week and I spent 2 nights up at the north coast of Northern Ireland in a little town called Portstewart. And I've been there before, I've showed you some pictures before. I had hoped to have more pictures to share with you this on my return, folks, but unfortunately the trip didn't kind of work out as planned because of the weather. So I arrived on a Tuesday afternoon and it was very windy, but actually it wasn't biting, it wasn't splitting me in two as I walked along the beach, and I had a nice clear the head, clear the cobwebs type walk. And my plans were the next morning to go out a little bit further around the coast to a place called Mussenden Temple, and it's a very it's quite an iconic landmark in Northern Ireland and there are fantastic views down over a coastline and beaches, so I wanted to share that with you. But unfortunately it started to rain early Wednesday morning and it didn't stop until 4 o'clock. So at one point I did actually spend an hour and a half sitting in the car waiting for the rain to go over, and then I had to concede defeat and I just gave up and went to the cinema instead, which was not anywhere near as nice as what I had planned, and was quite a depressing movie. But anyhow, it was time away and it was a break, a much needed break. I hopped from coffee shop to coffee shop just so that I could sit and read my book in peace. I did a little bit of stitching, not very much, but I just had a little bit of a break. So huge thanks to my hubby who held the fort at home and allowed me that little bit of respite. It was very appreciated. Anyway, just before I left and just after I returned from my travels, my escape, I received some lovely happy mail from my viewers, my friends and viewers. So just before I left, a fabulous package arrived for me with birthday wishes from a friend who wishes to remain anonymous, but I just wanted to say thank you here. She sent a fantastic package of DMC floss and some chocolate, which I think might have been intended for Charlotte, but I was just about to go on a road trip, so I took said chocolate mini eggs with me on my road trip. So my bonanza of DMC threads were gifted as a little birthday treat for this 50th year that, as you know, I'm celebrating that I'm going to be 50 at the end of the year. I'm pushing that out as far as I can. But we're celebrating that. Sally and I are celebrating our 50th years, and we've been very public about our SAL here, the Fun for 50 SAL 2024, where we are each having 50 new starts this year. And my viewing friend said, oh, I want to celebrate with you and I'd like to give you some flosses. So she sent me a very, very generous package of flosses. So kisses to you and thank you so much. And the chocolate was great. I will replace Charlotte's chocolate. She has to get through all her Easter eggs first. Then on return from my trip, there was another package waiting for me. And this package, I think, was suspected lost in the post. I wasn't aware of that, but I think the sender thought it was never going to get here. So it crossed the Atlantic all the way from Canada. And this was a package from Joanne Neufeld. Some of you will probably know Joanne because she watches and comments faithfully on a number of Flosstubes, and I'm sure you've seen her in comments. So Joanne contacted me a while ago and said that she had a pattern she would like to share with me if I would like it. She had a modern folk embroidery pattern, and one doesn't say no to the sharing of a modern folk embroidery pattern. But Joanne sent a huge package. So it was not just the pattern that she sent to me. So Joanne also included a number of DMCs. She had got a fantastic bargain of DMCs on her travels, and she shared that with me. So between Joanne and my other anonymous viewer, I have a lovely set of DMCs to keep me very busy. I have sorted them into this at the moment just because I need to do quite a bit of sort out over here. And I wanted to have them nice and tidy, not just lost and kicking around somewhere. So these are kind of overflows and waiting for being put into my stash or attributed to projects. So from both of you, thank you so much for this floss. I can't believe that I got this generous a package. So thank you very, very much. Joanne's package did indeed have the chart in it that we had discussed, and she sent me her copy of Dream of a Winter Garden by Modern Folk Embroidery. And Joanne had been part of the Christmas countdown, for which this pattern was a gift at the end of the countdown, I believe, for those who had subscribed to that countdown through Evertote. And Joanne stitched the pattern and then asked if she could pass it on to me. Of course I said yes. But not only did she send me the pattern, but she sent me all of her leftover flosses. Guys, you know how good I am at this. So hold on, here we go. See, there's one gone already. There we go. Aren't they beautiful? So thank you so much, Joanne. The problem is that now I really want to stitch this now. But I have to figure out how I can work it into my 50 starts, if I can fit it into my 50 starts. And if not, it's going to be high up there in 2025. Now this lovely little package of the pattern and the flosses came in a beautiful handmade, sorry, I'm just trying to organize myself, a handmade project bag. There's a little story to this project bag. Joanne and her friend Heather made this bag together to send to me. So thank you so much for your contribution, Heather. Apparently, Joanne did all the cutting of the fabric and the organizing of that, but she didn't trust herself to sew it up. So her friend Heather stepped in and did a lovely job of finishing this gorgeous vinyl fronted pouch for me. And so Dream of a Winter Garden is going to live in there. And I might just bring it out and stroke the flosses every now and again. So thank you so much, Joanne and Heather, for this gorgeous project bag. And it's really nice that it has that little story to it. So big thanks. Joanne included lots of other little goodies, well, some were not so little, goodies in her pack, and there was this little Canadian floss bed, so can you see? And that has it has really lovely fleecy lining to it. I've never had one of these. So thank you. It will be really nice to think of you when I am using this. It is such a lovely thing to have gifts from your stitching friends and from stitching friends around the world, because every time you're using something, the memories are there. The memories of the connections and the friendships are there. There was also this beautiful little strawberry pin, like a counting pin. It's so cute and sparkly. And then very generously, Joanne split her Trinway Silks pack that she bought at Stitch North, and she split it with me. So that was really, really kind of her. So they feel absolutely amazing. And as it happens, these silks were put together. These silks were put together, and a number of designers had designed small designs that fit this palette. So as it happens, I have the fox and rabbit designs. Many of them were, in fact, I think they were all tea based. So of course, teacups and tea, very me. So I have the fox and rabbit one, which I think is called Fancy a Cup of Tea. And I will be using these silks to stitch that. So I'm really looking forward to that. And I'm going to see, because it's a smaller pattern than Dream of Winter Garden, I'm going to see if I can fit in Fancy a Cup of Tea into this year's 50 new starts. So see, this is why I'm telling you that I don't want to announce all 50 starts at once, because things happen and I change my mind. So now I'm trying to work in Fancy a Cup of Tea so that I can use these beautiful gifted silks. So that was so, so generous of you, Joanne. You also included some After 8 hot chocolates and some stickers for Charlotte, and it was just wonderful. Thank you very, very much for your generosity. I absolutely do not deserve this, and it is overwhelming to me. But I'm so grateful, so very grateful. So thank you so much to Joanne and to my lovely other friend who sent me these beautiful, generous and thoughtful gifts, just to bring a wee smile to my face. So thank you. Okay. The previous episode, we had a winner for the Le Petit Chaperon Rouge kit, pattern from Jardin Privé, and I haven't heard from her. And she is Cheryl Middleton 2442. So Cheryl, if you are out there and you hear this, or if anyone knows Cheryl and can let her know that she is the winner of Le Petit Chaperon Rouge, then please ask her to get in touch with me, or if I'm talking to you yourself, Cheryl, then please get in touch and let me have your mailing address so that I can get this in the post to you. Please either send me a message, direct message on Instagram, I'm Somi Sarah there, or you can use the email address that's in the drop down show notes below. So don't miss out, Cheryl. Okay. Let's talk about some stitching. So I don't have any fully finished objects to share with you. I do have something that is almost fully finished, but I haven't shared it with you at all yet. It is a secret, and I'm hoping that maybe in a few episodes' time I will be able to share that with you. So although I can't show you a fully finished object today, I'm nearly there with one. It is a bit of a secret, and you will see it in due course. But I do have 3 finished projects today, which is quite miraculous, really. Anyway, the first of those finishes is what was my car stitch, and I brought it into the house. Things have changed at school, and I am not waiting for Charlotte in the car just as long anymore. We're trialing bringing her home earlier in the day. she's finding it a very, very long day. It's very difficult, blah, 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 blah. It means I'm not sitting in the car as much. So I really wasn't putting in very much stitching into this piece. So I brought it into the house and I did finish it over a couple of evenings. And this is It Is Well. And this is a pattern by Sarah, the Rocking Chair Stitcher. It's one of my favourite hymns. It has lots of associations to very special people and special events and things. And so I really wanted to stitch it when I saw her pattern. I stitched this on a 32 count linen. It's a Zweigart linen and the colour is called Silk. It's a kind of a pale grey tone, but it's a warm grey. And I think it's beautiful. And it worked really nicely with this variegated floss from Roxy Floss Co, which is called Hippie. That is my finish of It Is Well. I'll probably make that into a long cushion filler for a display. I also finished, and this is very exciting, the celebration of Colour SAL, which was being hosted by and designed by Ros Clarke Crafts. Ros has a Flosstube channel here on YouTube, and she also is Ros Clarke Craft on Instagram. This has been a really fun project. So this was a mystery SAL in 12 parts, and the last part was released yesterday. And I stitched it up last night. And I'm so happy to have finished because I really enjoyed the project from beginning to end. It's not something that I would have thought I would have stitched. And actually it's not something I would have thought I would have enjoyed as much as I did. But the reason that I enjoyed it was because Ros has supplemented the SAL, every release of the SAL, with a video explaining about colour and different things about particular colours, about the way that colours work together, about particular artists. It is fascinating and it is really well worth watching those videos, whether you want to stitch this piece or not. If you haven't joined the SAL and would like to stitch it now that you've seen it in its finished form, you can still get the SAL for free from Ros's from the information in Ros's channel in her drop down box. There's a link tree, or on her Instagram as well, in her profile there's a link tree, and I think she said it's going to be available free of charge for the next month in part form, so in the release parts, and after that she will bring it all together and release it as one full chart, as a paid chart on her Etsy store. But for the next month it is free, and if you are interested you will find it on her link trees that way. So it's just a wonderful celebration of colour, exactly what she said it was going to be. She has different combinations of colours for different purposes. Obviously this one is the colour wheel. Over here we have complementary colours, I think, coming together. Different ways of blending colours and how they affect each other, your rainbow of colours. It really is just marvellous. And it was such a lovely journey, this SAL. So thank you so much, Ros, because I know this took a lot of hard work on your part. Not just to design, not just to split it up into parts for release, but also to do all of that video work and the research into the colour and background that you provided for all of us. So thank you so much. It was really great to stitch along and learn along as I went. So I'm not sure how I'm going to finish this. Ros showed a couple of finishing options on her last video for the SAL. She had stitched two versions, so she made one of them into a needle book and the other one she made into a pouch, and both were really pretty and lovely ideas for how to use this finished piece. So I'm going to think about it some more before I decide what I want to do with it. But I'm so happy that I joined the SAL, and I didn't think when I first started, I didn't think I would keep up with it. I thought I would, you know, with everything else that's going on this year, I thought that actually deliberately I would keep up for the first few weeks and then just keep up as I could. but I enjoyed it so much and I wanted to keep up every week. So when Ros released the parts on a Sunday, I was stitching them on Sunday night and Monday night to keep up. So thank you again, Ros. It was really fun. My third finish is also a start and finish and is part of the Fun for 50 SAL 2024. One of these days I'll just get it right. It will just trip off my tongue. Fun for 50 SAL 2024. So this is start number 15 of my 50 starts, and this is the Stitcherovia pattern Pride and Prejudice. You have bewitched me, body and soul. I love it. This one was quite quick to stitch up. I started it on Monday night. I took it away with me on Tuesday when I went up to the North Coast, and I finished it all except for these 4 single dark pink stitches. I ran out of floss and I didn't have enough to do those 4 single pink stitches. So I had to finish it when I came back home, just putting in those 4 stitches. But I love this. I just used my own colorway for this. I think possibly the blue is the same. I'm sorry, I've lost the chart page now, but I think I used 930 anyway for the blue. And then I used my own choices of, no, my own choices were only for the 2 pink shades, that's right. On the chart itself, they're more of a peachy pale pink color, and I wanted to strengthen them up a little bit. So I used a darker pink, and then one that's almost red. I absolutely love this piece, and I know that a number of you have started this along with me for the SAL, so thank you so much for doing that. I hope you're enjoying it too, and I know someone else has changed their flowers to deeper, darker colors as well, so I'm not the only one who had that great idea. So that is my start and finish of Pride and Prejudice, and that is start 15 for the Fun for 50 SAL 2024. I have to really think about it. Okay. Let me talk a little bit more about the Fun for 50 SAL 2024. I'm doing that with Sally. If you haven't been here before, if this is your first time, this is a year-long SAL that Sally from the channel FlossySewsandGrows and I are doing together. We are both 1974 babies, and we will be celebrating our big 5-0 this year. So in a moment of madness, I agreed with Sally that we would do a year of 50 starts in celebration of our birthday. And so we're at different stages. We're both stitching different things, but once a month approximately, we have a project that is the same to start. So not all of our starts are the same, but over the year we'll have 10 or 12 that will be the same starts. I think Sally is on start 18 maybe now, and I'm lagging a little bit behind with start 15. That was my latest. So on the last episode, the previous episode, I outlined everything that's coming for April. I've showed you what the April stitching will be, so I'm not going to repeat all of that now, but for the next couple of weeks, I will be starting Hands-On Designs Stitch Some Happy, because I always say, stay well and stitch happy at the end of my videos. So I love this one and I want to make a start on this. I'm hoping, since it's small, that I have a fair chance of finishing it soonish as well. And then on the 8th of April, Sally and I will both be starting Little House Needleworks Schoolgirl Lessons. So we're both going to do this one as our joint April start. Now I have a question for you about this one. I have this kitted up with a red floss, which is beautiful, but after kitting it up, I received as a gift this skein of Gloriana silk, and it is pomegranate. My lovely friend Kathleen sent this to me. I don't think that's actually showing it up as nicely as it really is. It's making it look more tomatoey red, but anyway, it's beautiful, really beautiful. But what I wanted to ask you is, this pattern is not huge. I think it's something like 87 by 67 or something like that. Do you think this would be enough? It says I've not used Gloriana silk before, okay, which is why I'm asking. It says it's 6 yards of 12 strand silk. So to me, that's kind of almost twice what DMC would be if it's 12 strands. So if this is almost 2 skeins, it's not a very big chart. What do you think? Do you think I would get this out of this? Okay, silk stitchers, tell me what you think. Is it worth the risk of starting? I guess I could start and adapt if it wasn't going to stretch. What do you think? I would really love to use this thread that was gifted by Kathleen. Something to think about, but maybe some of you have wisdom that I don't have and know whether that's just wishful thinking on my part that it would stretch that far. Let me know. Anyway, those are my my next 2 planned starts, and those are probably the only 2 starts that I will do, assuming that I get back to recording my next video on time. These should be all I have time to do before I see you again. So these are the next 2 starts that I have planned, and I'm hoping that I will have these done by the time I come back to see you again. As a little sneak peek of something that's coming up in the summertime, one of the starts that I have planned is a gift from a friend. This was gifted to me at Stitch in London last year by the lovely Anne-Marie, who is a viewer and friend. And Anne-Marie gave me Heart in Hands Bluebird sampler. So I would really love to stitch this, and I'm hoping probably around June time to do this. So if you have it in your stash, or if you've always wanted to do it and would like to start along with me, then this is a little bit of a sneak peek warning. You could get yourself ready, and if you keep watching the channel, I will eventually announce when it's coming and we can start it together if you would like to join with us in our Fun for 50 SAL 2024. Okay, in my prattling on about the Fun for 50 SAL 2024, I completely forgot to share with you the progress that I have on a few of my whips this time. So when I came back from my little trip away, part 3 of Enchanted Realms, the Mystery SAL by Caterpillar Cross Stitch, was released. It was waiting for me in the inbox. I was able to print the pattern, and then I was able to stitch this section 3, which is the part 3 release. And as you can see, it's a little woodland fairy scene. We have male and female fairies, and we have beautiful little toadstools, butterflies, and little floral accents. So this was fun to stitch, and I'm happy to say that yes, I finally have the fairies to fulfill the prompt by the viewer who suggested that we stitch something with a fairy. I did say when I first started this piece, it was one of the earliest starts in the year, that I suspected it was going to fulfill this prompt, but I wasn't 100% sure because it is a mystery SAL. So I'm very glad to see the fairies turn up. Now I just need an alien to be there somewhere because I have no idea how I'm going to fulfill the prompt of stitching something with an alien in it. Anyway, we'll keep our fingers crossed. I have another tiny bit of progress, excuse me, for reaching on my Oh Holy Night Advent calendar. I'm not going to belabor it because there's really not a lot to see. I am working the stars and the blue fill-in down this side of the border. As I said last time, one thread is only giving me about, it's not even an inch. So it's slower than I expected, but it's still progress, and you know, it'll be done. It'll be done. So that is the Dimensions kit, the Oh Holy Night Advent calendar. And then I have another SAL progress. This was another part 3, and this is the Historic Sampler Company SAL. All things grow with love. A perfect spring stitch. Absolutely beautiful, and I adore it. So this is a 4-part SAL, and the 4th part released this morning. So I have it all printed out and ready to go. That is my plan for this afternoon, whilst I'm trying to get this video edited and uploaded. I hope to get a few stitches in on this, and we will see it, hopefully see it finished next time that I come back and share with you. So apologies for forgetting to share these whips with you before I went on about my plans for the next starts for the SAL. Anyway, let's go back now to plans. So I had another little reality check in terms of the I can't do everything that kind of spilled over into my stitching. And I like to do things, I like to plan, and I like to meet those expectations, and when I don't, then I get frustrated. So this year, with the 50 starts, I have been finding it difficult to keep up with much of, or any progress really, on the SALs that already, or the whips that I already had in existence. Those whips were on my Sweet 16 board. Those of you who've been here for a while will know what that is. If you're new, the Sweet 16 board is a 4x4 grid in which I write the names of 16 projects. There are 16 whips that I'm working on, and I tend not to go beyond that number, and I don't introduce a number 17 until one of those 16 is finished. It's just a way for me to manage my whip number. I don't like to have too many on the go at once. So I discovered some time back that about 16 was a sweet number for me in terms of how many whips to have on the go, and so I just called it the Sweet 16 board. It looks a little bit like a whip go board, and I just use that to keep tabs on my whips. So I had I think 13 or 14 whips carrying over from last year into this year, and I was hoping that although I'm doing all of these starts, that I would still be able to have a little bit of momentum on the whips that already existed, but it's just not working out that way. And of course, then I plan it every month. I plan what I want to stitch because I'm just a planner by nature. But it's my hobby, and I don't want to hang myself up on it, or I don't want to get frustrated by it. And I could see that it's starting to happen a little bit, that I'm frustrated because I plan to touch these whips and I don't get to them because I have the 50 starts, I have some SAL commitments, the ones from Caterpillar Cross Stitch and Historical Sampler Company, and I want to do a little bit of continual progress on my enormous full coverage piece. So with all of that, there wasn't really enough time to be touching the existing whips as well. So I have decided that because I can't do everything, I'm going to just leave them. I'm going to park them for now, and I'm not going to worry about them. If I can bring one in now and again, then well and good, fine, no problem, but I'm not going to worry myself about it. This is all me just talking my head around. So please bear with me. But as explanation to you, it is why you won't see many of my existing whips for quite some time. In fact, could be next year before you see some of them again. But then they'll be like new, they'll be a surprise and they'll be fresh again, right? So I am continuing to work on the daily thread piece. That is an existing WIP, the Oh Holy Night advent calendar. So we'll see if maybe when I'm finished that I can bring something else in, but you know. But mainly this year, I really want to focus on having fun with the 50 starts. And yes, it's against me, it's against the, you know, the sweet 16, the idea that I only want to have 16 things started and 16 WIPs on the go. And here I am doing 50 things, but it's just for this year, it's just for celebration and fun. So I'm going to keep going with that because I am enjoying it very much and I want to continue enjoying it. So if you don't see the other WIPs, the turquoise teacup, the afternoon tea party, the glitter village, those kinds of things for a while, you'll know why. I'm being realistic, reality check, okay? So yeah, that is that. I think the plan really in a nutshell is to just keep stitching and stop worrying about what I'm not stitching. That's the plan. Okay, let's move on. I want to share with you a fabulous Get Connected today, and that Get Connected is Stitch in London Retreat 2024. This is the October retreat from Marie of Stitches and Diamonds, and it's held in Watford, just outside London, and it is now open for registration. So this is a fabulous way to get connected and actually meet people from our community. There will be some floss tubers there. I'm going. I know there are other floss tubers going. There are other folks going who you might know from Facebook groups, you might know from comments and Instagram. So if you think that you would like to go to a retreat, I can heartily recommend this retreat. You may remember my effusive retreat summary after I returned from my first cross stitch retreat last October. It was Stitch in London. Now, this year there are 2 weekends for Stitch in London. So the first weekend is the 4th to the 6th of October, and the second weekend is the 11th to the 13th of October. Now, last night I got in touch with Marie and I just wanted to touch base with her to see, just to see what the position was, because I didn't want to be advertising here if there are no spaces for you, basically. So as of last night, when I was communicating with Marie, she said she's now into having a waiting list for weekend 1. So there are 52 spaces on each weekend, okay? She has filled weekend 1 and has a waiting list for it, but there were still places, there were still about 15 spaces last night for weekend 2, which is the 11th to the 13th of October. And there are lovely people going to weekend 2. And we would love to see you there. So if you think that Stitch in London is something that you could manage, something you would like to do, maybe it's something you've done before and forgot about and haven't registered yet, go and register, because she only opened registration last week, midweek, for those who are, there was early bird registration for folks who had previously attended, and then on Saturday evening she released the remaining spaces widely available to anyone can book. And so you do that through the Stitches and Diamonds website. I will put that information below near the top of my show notes for you, so that if you are interested you can find that website. You'll be able to read all the details of the retreat there, the prices, how it all works. You can, there's the retreat cost, and then you can add accommodation to your retreat as well. You can stay the nights of the retreat, you can stay a night before or a night after. All of that is managed superbly by Marie, and I cannot speak highly enough of Marie and her retreat and the organisation, and of the folks who attend and the stitchers who go and who help to make it a wonderful experience. So that is, pardon me, that is a really fantastic way for getting personally connected, face to face, with other stitchers People who understand your love of the fabric, of the threads, of the patterns, who get excited in exactly the same way that you do. It's your tribe, so come and join us. And I hope that if you want a space, you will be able to find one on the weekend that you want. Okay, now I want to talk about one special thing, which kind of lapses into a Get Connected as well. But this week's one special thing is actually two special things, kind of. But it is stitching with the Sarahs. So I told you, I've been telling you that the Sarahs are coming. The Sarahs are taking over Flosstube. But there are two Sarahs in particular who have struck up a collaboration. They are two US floss tubers. The first is Sarah from Sarah's Stitchery. She is also Stitchy Sarah Reads, and her channel used to be called Stitchy Sarah Reads. But she's now Sarah's Stitchery on Flosstube, and then Handmade by Sarah W. So the two of them, they each have their own Flosstube, and as far as I can tell, they're planning to keep it that way. However, last week they put out a collaborative Flosstube, so one that they did together, and they're calling it Stitching with the Sarahs, and it's almost like a little out-taken segment that they're going to do, as I understand it, from time to time. So they will keep the individual personalities of their own floss tubes running, but from time to time they'll come together because they stitch a lot of things together. They do a lot of SALs together, and that is what the discussion on their Stitching with the Sarahs videos about. So they put this one out last week, and it was lots of fun. As I said, they were discussing all of the things they were doing together. One Sarah is a linen stitcher, the other Sarah is an Aida stitcher, so it's really nice to see how they both are doing the project, but on linen and Aida, how they're maybe converting some of the floss colours, and it's just stitchy, it's just fun stitchy talk, and they're both really lovely personalities, so I highly recommend it. It's worth the watch. I'm looking forward to them doing more of the collaborations, although I really do hope that they also keep their own floss tubes going, because they do have a different flavour, but it's been really nice to see them come together. So if either Sarah is watching, I don't think they do watch, but if either Sarah is watching, then a big thumbs up to me for the collaboration, and I really recommend that you go and watch as well, and hopefully you will enjoy it too. Now, as I said, this special thing, their collaboration lapses over into Get Connected because they have two new SALs running. Now, one of them starts today and the other one started yesterday, so but it's not hard and fast, and I know that both Sarahs will be so tickled if you were able to go along and join them. So today they are starting Tom's Foolery by Hands Across the Sea, appropriately enough because it's the 1st of April and April Fool's Day. And yesterday, on Easter Sunday, they started Serenity by Teresa Kogut. So that was one of the new market releases this year. So both of those SALs are open now and available, and you can go along to their channels, find out what the hashtag is, and I think it's hashtag Stitching with the Sarahs, but you'll go and watch them to find out for sure. And I hope that you enjoy watching them, connecting with them, seeing how they interact with each other, and maybe even joining in their SALs. If I wasn't doing 50 new starts for this year, I would absolutely be joining them for Serenity, because I have it sitting here in my pile of market haul to show you. So go and watch the Sarahs. I will link them down below as well so that you will be able to find them. Okay, so since I have Serenity and mentioned that it's part of my market haul, it's a good time to show you the couple of charts that I picked up on my pre-order for market. So I pre-ordered from Peakside Needleworks, and then I had to order from 123 Stitch just after market, and I added one market chart to that. So from Peakside Needleworks, I ordered Serenity from Teresa Kogut, and absolutely love it. It is huge and it terrifies me. Sorry, I'll show you properly. It's huge, it terrifies me, but one day, maybe about 2029, I will stitch this. I also picked up the booklet for the 12 Days of Christmas Stockings. So there is a story to go with this. This was part of a club release, like a monthly club thing through Crazy Annie's in the US, I think. I didn't see it until it was well underway. And I absolutely loved them. I thought they were so beautiful. I love the 12 Days of Christmas things, but quite often don't love all of the patterns in a set. I don't know what it is. Some of them are good and some of them are awful, and well, some of them are not to my taste is probably the way to put it. Anyway, I loved these when I saw them, and at one point after the club had finished, I kept watching, would they be released, would they be released, would they be released? And I kept watching, and eventually I contacted the designer and I asked, did she have any plans to release them, because I couldn't find them anywhere. And she said no, she didn't. So I was crestfallen and went on the search for other 12 Days of Christmas patterns. I did eventually find a set that I have purchased. I actually I got Alan to get them for me for Christmas, my husband to get them for me for Christmas. They are a Shannon Christine set of the 12 Days of Christmas. And then of course, just after Christmas, out come the market releases and there is the 12 Days of Christmas stockings. So it looks like I might have 2 sets of 12 Days of Christmas on the go at some point. So that is the story behind this one and my desire to have these patterns. Okay, my other two market releases from Peakside are Goodness and Mercy by Sweet Wings Studio. You can see I've already pulled some threads for that. They're not the called for, but they're just from my stash. So I would like to fit this in to possibly into my May starts. I think that would be a nice one to start in May. And then I ordered the Spring Quaker by Primrose Cottage. I didn't realize that this was a market release until I went onto the pre-order site and it was sitting there. So I love these little Quaker pillows. Haven't stitched any of them yet, but I do have. I have the Valentine one. I think I have the winter one and the Christmas one and the autumn one. So I've got quite a few. So that is the spring one. And then in my later 1, 2, 3 stitch order, I also added Far Better Things. I love C.S. Lewis Narnia books. So those are my market haul. And when I ordered from Peakside, I asked them for 2 copies of Serenity because I want to share it with you. So this is today's giveaway. This is an enormous chart, okay? It's like 300 by something. Let me just find that for you. Just to let you know, so that really you're only gonna, just in case you wouldn't be interested. Okay, it's 338 by 340 stitches. But it's 338 beautiful stitches by 340 beautiful stitches. So if you would like an opportunity to have Serenity as part of your stash, and maybe you could join with me in 2029, we could stitch it together. You can enter the giveaway today by using the word serene in the comments down below. S-E-R-E-N-E. Serene. All the usual giveaway rules apply. Please be 18 because I will be asking for a mailing address. Be a subscriber. You can be from anywhere in the world as long as I can get it to you by post. I'm happy to post anywhere. And please, in your comments, don't say things like freebie, win, giveaway, any of those words that attract undesirables. I want this to go to a real viewer and a real stitcher, not a bot. So if you would like to win, please just leave the word serene in your comment below and I will post this out to you. the giveaway will be announced on the next video, which I very much hope to be not this Sunday coming, but next Sunday. I'm hoping to get back into my Sunday routine. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but I'm going to try. Sometimes Sundays have been a bit fraught lately and there's not always the room to record, but I'm going to try to get back to that because it worked in many other ways. And it was a nice schedule to be on. So that is the plan, and I hope to be back with you. And until then, I really do hope that you will stay well and stitch happy. Bye.